Bro, no jersey?
No.
Why
no.
not?
Dude, that game was horrible. How can I wear a jersey?
Bro, you gotta wear a jersey.
But no.
Bro, you have to, bro.
But come on, do I really?
Yeah, man.
Ugh. No.
What is this?
Venom.
Oh,
I'll
no.
at least kill people.
No. We ain't got a Spider-Man's podcast up in here. Where's your jersey? You bring it?
I at least brought it.
Okay, good. Get that thing on. Let's get this thing rolling.
I'll wear a broken person for my broken heart.
Oh, man. What? I'm almost broken. It's okay. I almost got broken today. That's much better.
Doesn't feel better.
It feels much better. Looks much better. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to Blitzburgh Squad. I'm Wesley Seeley, joined with Shane Smith. Whew, Shane, there's a lot to unpack in this one. Somehow I'm smiling and laughing. Somehow you're laughing and smiling.
I think I'm laughing out of awkwardness.
Yeah, we're. I don't know what else to say, man.
It was a rough game. I like with us recording it. It was rough to watch. Like, I really didn't even want to finish the game. I really wish last week's game would have been reversed. Like, we would have been able to watch the Jets game and watch us blow a 10-point lead, and just had to listen to this on the radio.
Yeah.
I'd have felt maybe better. Probably not, but
I don't know. Yeah, it would have been mixed, too. I mean, we tried to recap that one as best we could, too, without watching it. But, yeah, this was just demoralizing. Like, there's losses, but then there's such thing as like embarrassments. Like that's not even a game. That's just an embarrassment right there.
Right.
I mean, you look at other teams such as the Lions that have the same record as us, 1-4, but we've gone on our picks and said, hey, these Lions are legit. They're putting up 30+ points a game, 40 points a game. In some cases, they're actually like competing, and then they go out and turn up. Zero
today, which
today.
Maybe makes us feel a little better that we scored
happens.
3.
But when Alex Kozora, I think, tweeted about our first 5 games, our scores like 16, 20, 14, 13, like now 3. It's just like, that's an NFL offense. Are we sure?
Yeah.
Like high school stuff.
It's rough, and I mean, diving into the offense, How did you feel about it today when you watched it? Like, did you feel better about it? Did you think it took steps in the right direction and just was a bad day at the office against a really tough team? Or do you think it looked worse under Kenny?
I don't think it looked worse per se. A lot of the same because it's still Matt Canada, unfortunately. But you had a more decisive.
I think that confirmed it today.
Yeah, exactly.
4 quarterbacks now.
You saw back there. I mean, props to Kenny. I will say he looked good the whole game. It wasn't other than his pick late in the game that was like a bad decision. Like, you're gonna have those rookie bumps and bruises along the way.
Right.
But for the majority of this game, he looked decisive. He had that confidence, that swagger that we saw in the last game, or heard in the last game, however you want to say it, but looked very confident and had that decisiveness. And that was the 2 things we talked about last game, too, was he knows where he wants to go with football. He's in charge of the huddle. He's in charge of that offense. And just he has that confidence and swagger to go in there and be like, yep, this is my team now, or this is my offense. I'm going to run it. Let's go. I love it. Like, that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see him take shots. He took some shots down the field. Didn't connect on much of any, but maybe that one to Pickens. But really not many connections there, but he took those shots. And I don't know, he just looked more comfortable back there. And initially, yes, I was really happy with what I saw with the offense. They went, I mean, trying to rebound off a 98-yard touchdown that was just given up.
Right, off a 98-yard touchdown where you then go and fumble the ball, and then they get the ball right back, and then so your offense isn't even on for the first 2 possessions.
No time. So that was really obviously tough to overcome, but I felt like that initial drive, Kenny looked really good. Decisive, was completing passes, was in charge of the huddle, in charge of the team. Looked good, but then it was like, second drive, 3rd drive, 4th drive, 5th drive, 6th drive, it was just stalling out. And not so much on Kenny. It was more so just the play designs, play calls, and everything like that.
Yeah, it was. We got into this rhythm again where it was run, pass. Run on 1st down, okay, you gain a yard. Run on 2nd down, okay, you gain another yard. Okay, it's 3rd and 8, let's pass it. And by that point, the Bills are like, well, we're not idiots. We're just going to come after the kid. Like, it was definitely frustrating. Like, I feel like Kenny sustained drives better. They were longer. He kept the defense a little bit more rested than we've been used to. I mean, Tony Romo, I don't even like listening to Tony Romo.
Oh, you love it.
But, like, he was talking about Kenny, and so I was kind of listening to him, and he had nothing but great things to say. He's like, he's checking off all the boxes. Like, taking a hit and not being afraid to throw the ball, knowing he's going to take a massive hit, getting up afterwards and still not being afraid to throw it where he threw it before or throw it back to he made the plays, and he had a couple of what was that kind of plays, but more often than not, I've seen positives and less negatives on it, which was great. It was just, even when we would drive, it was 20-20, get in the red zone and just stall.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that Kenny not making the right calls? Was that Canada not doing the right things? Was that players not making the right plays? I think it was a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 20-20, 60 yards, we're doing great, get us in field goal range, and then from there we kind of stall out, which was, I don't know, quite a bummer to see.
Quite the bummer, exactly. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think we can both agree, Kenny looked good, though. I mean, for his first official start and full game, full week preparation against the top defense, one of the top 3 defenses in the league, he held his own, really, for the most part. Obviously didn't get any touchdowns, but I think he threw for over 300. I was going to check the stats. Yeah, 327 on 52 attempts, which is quite a lot. But, not as much as you want your rookie to throw it. But, I think we can both agree Kenny looked good. Running backs, Najee still doesn't look great.
No, he doesn't look normal. And somebody tweeted it, and it got me thinking, and so I kind of watched a little bit more. And it totally fits it. That Najee's not playing Najee-style ball. Najee's trying to replicate Le'Veon Bell-style ball.
Oh,
that he's like getting the ball, kind of hesitating, kind of trying to do a slow, instead of just punching it. And maybe that's because of his foot. Maybe he doesn't feel comfortable with himself. He just does not look good. And then you see Warren come in, and Warren looks explosive.
He's got he's got that burst.
It's like he touches the ball, and he's shot through a cannon. I mean, he had 5 carries for 24 yards, which doesn't sound like a lot. He led us in rushing, so more than Najee, and I can tell you he ran it significantly less times than Najee, and so he's at almost 5 yards a carry. It's hard not to put this kid in when you're seeing what he's doing, and he's doing it all around positively. He's running the ball, I feel like, pretty well. He's a great pass blocker. He's good at catching the ball out of the backfield. He's a fantastic undrafted pickup for us, especially when Najee's not looking Najee-esque, and I think a lot of it's got to do with that foot injury.
Yeah, something's got to be there, because he doesn't look the same Najee of last year.
Right.
And Jalen Warren just looks, I hate to say it, but he looks to be the better back as of right now.
Yes.
Just that burst, the quickness, the extra effort sort of things. I like what I'm seeing from Jalen Warren. Hopefully he got a hold on the ball, and he did so today, but he's just got to keep that consistent.
Correct.
Receivers, I'm going to put Pat and Gentry in this mix, but Pickens, Johnson, Claypool, what'd you think of today?
Pickens was Pickens. He's still making plays, and they even called one catch out that was in. He led us again.
With the hand?
The hand and the foot in that they should have challenged, because that would have been a first down, kept the stuff going in that. Pickens is balling out. He looks like our number 1 right now.
Finally getting him involved.
As a rookie. Yeah, Kenny and him definitely have a great rapport. Claypool made some nice plays and then turned it around with some plays.
Yep.
Claypool looked okay. Deontay looked horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on. That dude can make a sick one-handed grab.
I was going to say, he goes from wide receiver 1
of high to where it's middle of the field, nobody's around him, jumps up, hits his hands, goes right through, and almost was a pick.
Yeah. That was on third down, too. Huge third down conversion.
Killed us there. In the end zone, it was a tough catch, but both of your feet very easily could have been down and in, and instead he chose to take that extra step for no reason.
Why is it 2 weeks in a row, too, that just right on the line?
Yep, and it's like, come on.
Would have been a heck of a catch, though.
It would have been a great catch, but it's like, my first thought is, before he went, and maybe he was crazy the whole time, but before he went absolutely crazy, if Pickett throws that to AB catches that. 9 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Both feet are in bounds. Like, we got spoiled watching AB do that.
Yeah.
To where it's like, DJ, you gotta practice this, especially the type of offense we're running. It's outside.
Yeah.
On the line,
right? That's a good point.
You have to be able to do that.
That's a good point.
And so he looked all sorts of bad today. It was like, hey, some nice plays, and then it's like, man, you look horrible because you dropped more than you caught today.
Well, the two that stick out to me, that touchdown obviously would have been huge, but that one on third down that you pointed out was almost picked. Then the other one that was on a fourth down conversion, we were inside their end of the field, and I mean, it was late in the game, but still, it's like you show the effort and catch it like you're a number one wide receiver. You're getting paid like it now. Yeah, it's just like he had that, and it was kind of punched out, but still, that's the one you want your guy to catch and hold on to. You don't have to worry about fourth down completion. Oh, did he hold on? Did it come out? Like, that's your number one guy. He should be making those types of catches.
Right.
It wasn't even like that crazy contested either. But, anyways, offensive line. What'd you think about them today?
I thought they looked okay.
Yeah,
there were times when they looked pretty solid and doing just enough, and then there were times when it was like, okay, there's a heavy set blitz on this side very clearly, and maybe that's Kenny that's got to make the shift, but at the same time, if you know there's a rookie in, I feel like that goes on Mason Cole, which I think he's my favorite offensive lineman out of the group, but that goes on him to say, hey, guys, heavy blitz this side, shift, like, and it just wasn't happening, and so it was a mixed performance.
Yeah, I would say okay. I would label it as okay for me too, just because the running lanes weren't getting open like we thought they should still yet. And then also too is they allowed, I think, 3 sacks. I believe it was 3.
I can double check.
But for the most part, they held like Vaughn in check and some of those guys up front.
Yeah, 3 sacks.
Yeah, we're saying like they held those guys in check, but I don't know. They still allowed a lot of pressures to get to Kenny, like interior pressure to make him throw it quicker. I don't know, just some things that we can hopefully clean up on. But okay, so let's hear your offensive grade. And actually, one more thing for the line. I will say, the cheap hit on Kenny.
Fantastic for, it was...
James Daniels. I don't care if he got the flag.
I don't either.
Worth it, in my opinion.
Yep.
I'm glad. I'm happy to see that. Like, I like you having the quarterbacks back.
Yep.
And for the no call on Kenny for that slide...
Yeah.
You've got
horrible.
You're joking me.
His knee was down, and it was a very avoidable shot. It wasn't like it was a fake
I'm thinking like his butt was almost touching the ground at that point.
And it was was not like a light hit. Okay, he rammed him.
Yeah, he did.
That's pretty closely to, like Justin Herbert got hurt, and I literally thought about, like, okay, if that was Justin Herbert running with his cracked, fractured ribs on that side, somebody takes a shot, he's done.
Yeah, like
he's done. His ribs probably broke instead of fractured, and they're gonna call that.
Should Kenny have just laid there and act like he got hurt? Maybe that would have inhibited the call. I don't. It's just weird that you see like Mahomes and especially Brady, Rodgers, these guys make that play, and they're gonna get that call 9 times. Nine times out of 10. And just to not see it called, and then also you have James Daniels who just retaliates or reacts because of it, and then he gets the flag. It just seems so backwards.
Yeah, it should have been.
It's very frustrating.
Like granted, sure, it's a flag of what Daniels did, but at the same time, he did it for a reason, not because it was nothing.
It wasn't like after the play he's like, screw this guy. He did it because he just drilled his quarterback illegally, in my opinion. But everybody can saying it's a legal hit, but in my opinion, from what I saw and what Tony Romo said as clear as day, is that's a penalty.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and Gene Steratore also said it should have been a penalty.
He came on, sugarcoated it, but I was like, okay. Okay, I just wanted to add that in to our offensive line. But okay, so grade and your LVP. Whatever one you want to do first.
Grade, it's tough because am I including the offensive coordinator in my grade?
Yeah, I guess you have to, right?
Okay, including him, I'm going C-.
Wow.
Because I feel like Kenny definitely amped us up. It was just the play calling of Canada that was like, hey, we're going to do this because this is going to work, guys. And it doesn't. It just doesn't. He's a moron at this point. And so, like, I think Kenny and Muth when he was in, and even Gentry and Warren and George, they were playing pretty well and sustaining drives and moving us down the field. It was dummy up in the booth that couldn't figure it out.
You mean dummy in the booth that doesn't want to come down the field, probably because he's too scared to get ripped into?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually going to go D, flat D.
Okay.
Obviously, I was impressed by Kenny Pickett, throwing over 300, the poise, the decision-making. I like all of what I saw. I think we've got our guy. As Steelers fans, we should be happy with what we saw out of Pickett today. That's no question about that, and really doesn't play into my grade here. It's more so the offensive play call. It's more so coaching as a unit on offense. We're not getting the job done with all of our talent. And Pickett's his first game, and it's the Bills' defense. This is probably the best defense, best team we play all year.
Oh, yeah. One of tops, for sure.
So what a tough first task for Pickett. What a tough task for our offense, our team, anything in general. But, geez, I mean, to put 3 points up, and
it looks bad.
It's bad.
That kind of goes... I'm kind of pushing some of my grade onto the special teams, if I'm being honest.
That's fair. But, yeah, I don't know. I think we should be able to see more out of our offense for what we have up there. Offensive line has only gotten better each week, and then our playmakers on the edge, we've said that numerous times. Now we've got our quarterback, so hopefully things only get better from here, but I think for this game I'm going to go with a solid D.
Who's your LVP?
Well, I know we can't take the same guy, so I'll go with Matt Canada.
Okay.
I'm going to go with coaching. Because I'm going to guess you're going to go with player, so I just went safe route.
I was going to say, I didn't have Canada on my list, although I should have, because I had a different, because I know the number one player that I have, but I had a backup, actually.
Okay, so. All right. So let's hear it. Well, let's entertain us with the front runner and the backup then.
So front runner to me is DJ.
Yep,
we pay you $18 million a year.
You better catch every dang pass that hits your hand.
Absolutely. Backup is Naj.
Oh, okay.
Which I figured you wouldn't say Naj because you really like
Najee, but yes.
But I mean, he had 11 carries, 20 yards, 1.8 yards per carry average, to where Warren had 4.8 on half as many carries. I mean, the proof is in the pudding right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Jalen's did come late in the game though, when they were probably playing a lot of defense. But like, I do understand it. Like, Najee hasn't looked the same. Najee hasn't had that burst and acceleration. Hasn't looked quite like Najee that we're used to, so I get it. I was actually going to say my backup was going to be Claypool, actually.
Oh, okay.
We just haven't seen that out of Claypool yet.
Right.
Like all season. He's been missing like all season. Just end arounds he was popular with the first couple games, but otherwise he's been kind of weird.
He has been odd.
Okay.
Deontay Johnson had 13 targets and only 5 catches. I
wow.
like that to be known.
All right, shall we talk about this defense?
Yeah, let's go to our defense.
Okay. Where do we begin? So defense allows 38 points basically here.
Yep.
38-3 was the final score. They allowed 38 points.
It could have been worse if they wouldn't have pulled the starters.
It could have been worse. Much worse. Josh Allen throws for 424. He threw for what in the first half? 33 something?
348 in the first half.
He was just having his way with our defense. I mean, it didn't matter what we were doing. Zone, man. It really didn't matter. Like, you could put anybody out there and it wouldn't have mattered. You saw why the Bills are elite. I mean, Josh Allen, all the talk is there, and for good reason.
I mean, you start out the game. We defer the ball. Kick it in. The guy goes to return it, fumbles it, thinks about what he's doing, acts like he's going to go back into the end zone, realizes it would be a safety, so he comes back out and we tackle him on the 2. On the 2, we
bat a ball.
We bat a ball, get nowhere on a run with Singletary.
So it's 3rd and 11 or something stupid like this.
Yeah, 98 yards to Gabe Davis. Single coverage just blew through him. Like,
can we break down this play real quick, though, too? When I saw this play happen in live time, I saw Minka up by the line of scrimmage. I'm like, this is odd, but, maybe they have Norwood's, playing deep safety. I've liked what I've seen on Norwood, so that's fine. Well, Minka comes up, and then he doesn't do any of these things where it's like come all the way up to the line and then just drop way back like I thought he might. He stayed up close to the line, kind of like a QB spy at that point. And then you see him rush into Allen, and he did get a hit on him, but just as Allen throws it, obviously the rest is history, 98 yards later, but you saw what happens in the back end. Norwood takes a bad angle, big-time play, and, that kind of took the wind out of the sails.
Yeah, I mean,
that
literally.
was gutted, man. That just guts you.
At that point, they kick the ball, and they get the ball right back. We block a kick.
Yeah, because Pierre is back there because Sims was injured with an eye injury.
Something about blurry vision, and his eye was all screwed up during warm-ups.
So also, too, what can we talk about why James Pierre is back there? Why don't you have Deontay Johnson or somebody that actually has experience catching a return?
Do we still have Miles Boykin?
Yeah, I mean, anything like take a return rather than James Pierre, who doesn't even see the field. Weird. That was weird to me. Yeah, so he muffs the kick. Yeah, sorry, go on.
And then they get the ball. They pretty much drive it right back down from wherever they start. They have to settle with a field goal, which they block. And then we're like, cool, great.
Maybe that gives us some momentum back.
And that's when our offense goes down, gets 3, and I was like, okay, it's 10-3. That's or 7-3 at that point. I'm better than expected. And then from there, it was just like something unlocked in the Bills' offense. I mean, they went down the very next.
They were like, no. Trust me, you guys are not about to make this a game.
Yeah,
no.
They went down. They got a field goal. And then we went down, missed a field goal, and when we missed that field goal,
that was the flip of the switch. That's right.
And then from there, Gabe Davis a long touchdown for 62 yards. He had 2 catches for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns going into half.
And 160 of it on 2 plays or whatever.
Yeah, 160 he ended with 3 catches and 173.
Wow. Yeah.
You can't let that happen.
No, big play after big play.
And the second one was on Minka.
Yeah, that one.
Now, Minka,
he was deep.
Minka was there, and Minka tried to rip it out of his hands, but Gabe Davis is a dog.
Yep. I was gonna say, I'm not trying to. I'm a Minka fan, obviously, but I'm not trying to, I guess, discredit the play because it was a great. I mean, perfect throw, perfect catch, but it's hard to defend that. And I'm not trying to, give Minka a pass. He was right there. It was just a one-handed, basically grab.
Yep.
Perfect throw, perfect catch. It's hard to defend that, and he almost ripped it out, but somehow didn't. I saw the replay on it over and over, and I was like, how did he not at least just rip it out? And none of them get it, but just incompletion or something or fumble.
I have no idea how he did not get that ball out or knock it out because he was there. It was just at that point when it's 17-3.
That's how you know nothing's
game over. Game's done. Then we go 3 and out, or maybe it was a pick at that point or whatever in the second quarter, and they drive right back down the field. It didn't matter whether Allen was throwing, whether he was running, whether we got no pressure on him. He had whatever he wanted to do.
The soft zone on defense. I mean, you remember that third down play to their tight end that was just like a little drag route, and he takes and just runs upfield, and you're just watching the screen. There's nobody within the screen. He just keeps running.
Oh, yeah.
And then 20 yards down the field, 30 yards down the field, you finally see a Steeler. You're like, what in the heck?
How did that play break down? It was horrible.
Yeah.
And then, boom, Cam Sutton gets burned by Stephon, which doesn't make any sense because it's in the red zone. Cam is 3 yards in the end zone, and so Stephon's just like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to go that far back. I'm just going to cut it on the line because the ball just has to touch the plane. And so Cam gets burned there, and it's just it was bad.
Defense gets banged up too. Jeez Louise, we were already down at Kello. Then Cam Sutton goes out.
We were down at Kello, down Cam. Levi Wallace got a pick. Nice pick.
Very nice.
That was one of the bright spots.
Yeah.
Very nice pick. He goes out with a concussion. We were down Terrell Edmonds. I don't know if DeMarvin Leal came back in
I don't know if
he got hurt. It was just you just heard these names just adding up, and it's like, oh my gosh, we can't win with our starters. How the heck are we going to win with a backup team?
I mean, at one point, Pierre was at corner, and then that Josh Jacobs, what is it? No, not Josh Jacobs, Josh Jackson.
Yes, Josh Jackson.
Was at corner, and you're like, that's how you know you're at a weak point, low point. Not too much great to speak up on the defense, at least in my opinion. No pressure once again. Didn't really stop the run because they ripped off a big run with Cook later on in the game. I thought they were ripping off chunks with Singletary too.
I can see here what they ended with.
It just seemed like it was a nightmare that never ended on defense.
Yep, 432 passing total between Allen and Keenum and 120 yards rushing, and that was including Keenum's 2 kneel downs. So really 122 yards rushing off of 16 carries.
Wow. It felt a lot like the Bengals game of last year, 41-10, whatever that was. Felt like a lot like the Chiefs wild card game last year, whatever that was.
Yep.
42 to something. I mean, stupid. Just getting blown out of the water, like completely just blown out.
We were outclassed, hardcore outclassed.
I don't want to go too much into the details. I mean, you could go all day with this defense. You gotta
F-.
Okay.
You can't. There was a pick, but they sucked.
And you give up 38 points. Yeah, I'm going F as well. It doesn't sit well. Doesn't look good. And you got one pick. That was the only bright spot really of this whole entire defensive game for us. Allow 38 points just like that. That's not good at all. LVP for defense.
Austin Terrell.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what he's calling or how he's calling it. It seems to me like they're still calling, let's just rush with Highsmith, Cam, whether it's Ogunjobi, Leal, Alu, and Malik Reeds, and we're gonna get pressure and we're gonna hammer home. We're not getting pressure, and so now our soft zone and our corners, who are a weak point already, that thrive off of us getting sacks, we're not doing it, and so now and they're not changing anything. So blame it on Terrell, blame it on Tomlin, blame it on both. I don't care. Fire them all.
Yeah.
I
think you're right. I mean, Terrell, somebody needs to be held accountable for sure. I was going to maybe get into that at the end of this here. But Terrell Austin, you could definitely point the blame right at him because he obviously did not look like he had a good game plan against. I mean, it's hard. I mean, Josh Allen, the Bills offense, I get it. They are loaded. They're one of the best offenses in the league, but you didn't even have a plan together to get them under 30,
right.
something.
I mean,
I don't know.
38 points in 3 quarters.
Yeah, that's true because they basically were let up and pulled out at what point in time in the fourth?
Yeah, like 14 minutes left or something like that.
Yeah, geez Louise, you're right about that. That's kind of rough.
Makes it feel worse.
I'm going to go with Trey Norwood. In my opinion, I didn't really see anything that made me too excited about him this game. I felt like he showed flashes in the past before that I've really liked. This game, really bad on that 98-yarder.
Yep.
Just not super, I don't know. He just didn't show me flashes or didn't show me at least that stoutness that we at least get from Terrell Edmonds, at least for the most part now I feel like we do.
Yep.
Okay, special teams. We know Boz missed, 2? He made 1. He was 1 of 3 today.
Yeah. Now, part of that could be the wind. They were close field goals, but even Bass was struggling with them because the winds were like 20 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour. So that's tough as a kicker, but he still missed 2. Harvin was his same inconsistent self. Drilled one 69 yards, got pinned on the 1 or the 2, and then dings one up that goes at half field. Maybe the wind was against him at that
punt,
time.
I think it was.
Yeah, like
27-yard punt.
And I don't know if the wind was facing him, and that could have been part of it. Still, it's like we see what you can do, and we see what you did, and it's just. And then the fumble, F-.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, I'm gonna go F.
It was bad.
It was bad. LVP. I mean, I don't know. Boz.
You go Boz, I'll go PH3.
Yeah, it's like you can. Pick
I could go Pierre on it.
Danny Smith. We could go Danny Smith because they also allowed the facet that we don't really talk about is the kick coverage on the kickoff. Where after we think we made the field goal.
Yeah,
I think our only field goal that they ran it up to like the 40 or 45. I mean, it's like, geez, talk about giving them good field position and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go F. Last thing I was going to talk about was we know I think I was telling you before we were recording here, I think I need to readjust my view of this Steelers team for 2022. I thought that with Mitch as a bridge quarterback, even now seeing Kenny, I thought, now knowing both, I thought that we'd at least be an average team. We had the talent on offense, a lot of talent on offense actually, a very high-paid defense, and obviously this was
highest in the NFL.
This was before the TJ thing, the TJ injury. I just thought, you've got Cam, you've got TJ, you've got Minka, you've got guys on defense. We'll see.
You got Miles Jack.
You got Miles Jack now. You've added pieces to the defense, added pieces everywhere. It looks like you're shaping up. You drafted well. I just thought we'd be, an average team. I thought we'd get to maybe, I think I originally predicted maybe 10-7. Did we both agree on 10-7 record?
10-7, I believe, was our.
That's looking pretty silly.
Like dummies
we
right
look like
now.
We don't even know football. But I just thought we'd be an average team, and I think I'm gonna have to. I think we've got to come to the realization that this is not. I don't know. I think maybe it's an overreaction, but I just don't think this is an average team at this point in time.
We are, if we are not the worst in the league, like it's there's some bad teams out there, but even bad teams can find ways to win.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Colts. The Colts are the first team I think of for a bad team, and they score 12 points and win a game.
Is anybody winless in the NFL right now?
Nope. Nobody.
Because we're almost
because Houston was, and Houston beat Jacksonville.
We're a
today.
long snapper away, a holder away from being 0-4.
Well, yeah, 0-5 now. I mean, we should be.
Yeah.
0-5, and we got lucky.
Blocked field goal, whatever you want to call it, basically blocked field goal,
Yep.
long snapper, whatever you want to say. Yeah, I'm just starting to think that I think we better come to the realization that this is not a Steelers team that you're used to seeing with Ben and lead the pack, and Tomlin gets to 8-8 and he's never had a losing season before. I think that changes this year, and
it's my adjusted win total is 1.
I mean, when you can't put up touchdowns and you can't put up points, I get it. So yeah, that's definitely one thing too. But also on this game, I doubt it's going to happen because the Steelers are so frustrating in this aspect. Changes should be made after this game. When you lose 38-3, and I get it, we're 14-point underdogs. Had no chance or shot going to Buffalo and making this
14-point, not 35.
Yeah,
point
not
underdogs.
35. Exactly. Good point. So it's like you're talking. There was already a big spread going into this game, but you lose by 14. That's what the odd makers in Vegas were telling you that was going to happen.
Yep.
If you lose that game by 14, I'd be okay with that. You put up a fight, you put up some points. Obviously, we knew we were going to be overmatched in this game.
Certainly.
But to not show up, to not even, it seems like not even put in effort. It comes down to coaching, not getting your guys prepared, offensively, defensively, special teams, all around. And then even Tomlin, by putting the field goal unit on to kick those when we should have gone for it, in my opinion. 4th and 5, 4th and 6.
4th and 5, and the
Give me
smaller
a break.
4th ones, let alone 4th and 15.
And you were already down like 17-3, I think, at that point. I don't remember. Maybe we were down 21. I think we were down 21 at that point.
Yeah, I think it was 24-3.
Yep, I think it was. So I don't know. Just he always talks about playing in your fears, and obviously he was letting the fear get the best of him there, and just was trying to play to get some 3 points. I don't know. I just feel like whether it's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams, like changes should be made. Tomlin's not going to get fired, but somebody needs to be held accountable.
And I mean, at this point, to me, the prime candidate is Canada, for the simple fact that we've seen him with Ben. We have seen him with Mason, although it's a one-game thing. We've seen him with Mitch, and now we've seen him with Kenny for 6 quarters.
Yielding the same results, basically.
The same results for all of them.
Yep.
Kenny has done the best by far, but it's still one of those things where it's like we're still not playing good, and so somebody needs to go, and unless Tomlin's willing himself to be the sacrificial lamb, your OC's kind of been that guy over the last few years.
Yep.
Be un-Steeler-like and actually get rid of somebody to put a point to it that you are not happy with how things are going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Steelers typically are like, oh, we'll make changes at the end of the year. We don't fire people mid-season. We don't do contracts mid-season. You know what? Change it, because
you're 1-4. What could possibly go any worse?
Correct.
And 2, defensively, I'm gonna flip-flop sides on the defense here. I'm just saying, it's not that I hate Terrell Austin because defense looked great week 1 with everybody healthy, but Brian Flores is sitting back there as your linebackers coach or whatever.
Linebackers and senior assistant defensive coordinator or whatever.
Weird title.
So, I mean, he's waiting in the helms.
He is there.
Which, strangely enough, I don't think he has a defensive background. They just played very good defense in Miami when he was there. He has a offensive background.
That'll work too.
And so maybe he's our OCDC.
he can play 2 roles. That's fine. At this point, screw it. Oh man. All right. Jeez. Let's end on a positive note here, Shane. I felt like we were ranting, and for good reason. Our team just lost 38-3, but we'll try to end on a positive note. I think as Steelers fans, we can look at this and say, positive note is Kenny's your quarterback.
Kenny checked off a lot of the boxes.
We found our guy, so I think that's a huge weight lifted off because it was like, is he going to be the guy? He lasted until pick 20. People said it was a bad quarterback class.
Small hands.
Yeah, small hands. We picked him. We got our guy. He is our guy. Future quarterback. We're good to go.
Yes. And 2, for me, we have a number 1 wideout.
I was going to say that exact thing. I was going to point right
George
to Pickens.
Pickett to Pickens is a real thing that can live here for a long time.
Yep. I was going to say, you look at the age of our offense. There's so many young guys.
I believe they said youth. That every single one of them are 25 or younger.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Pickett's 24. I know that.
Yeah, I know that too.
But Chase
I'm not sure how old Deontay Johnson is, but
yeah, that's true.
They said something around like 25.
Maybe he's the 25er then.
Yeah, and it's like we have a young offense that should produce, and so, but
I honestly,
Pickens,
I honestly feel like if we got competent offensive coaching, competent defensive coaching, and maybe the defense is fine. It's a good Buffalo team, so I'm not going to base it on that. But the past performances without TJ and stuff,
certainly
it looked bad. Offense, defense, you get competent coaches in there. Our team isn't that far away from that. A couple more pieces to be really, really like contenders.
Right.
In my honest opinion, like
yep.
We're a very bad team right now, but it's just because we're going through this phase of like trying to figure it out. Like Matt Canada's in there and Terrell Austin is filling in there now at defensive coordinator. It's like Pickett's coming in. Oh, but it was Trubisky. You've got rookies here, rookie there. It's a lot of figuring out, in my opinion, so it sounds weird because we just said they're a very bad team, but they're only a few steps away or a few pieces away. But I honestly feel like good coaching, good coordinator, obviously, an actual legit coordinator, you're a few pieces away from being contenders, in my honest opinion.
I would agree with that. It's one of those where, like, if we had – I'm going to say the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, who is the offensive coordinator for the Packers.
Yep.
If he was our offensive coordinator, I think that would check the box off and our offense would be humming.
Yep.
And then, like you said, just a couple of pieces away. Like, unfortunately, Watt plays like his brother. He plays hardcore all the time, and unfortunately that causes him to kind of sustain some injuries. If we had, like, an Aiden Hutchinson, a Kayvon Thibodeau, Trayvon Walker, like that could do exactly what we need. Like that's how close I feel like we are to being a decent team. We're so stuck in our ways that we're like, no.
I know.
It'll be fine next year. And it's like, no.
That is the frustrating thing about being a Steelers fan. We just seem so complacent at times to just be so stuck in our ways. But I don't know. I feel like obviously we knew this year we weren't going to be going to the Super Bowl or even maybe playoffs, but we thought we'd at least be average. Not looking like the case. But I just think, we can be hopeful, and we know we got our guy's quarterback. That starts there, obviously.
Absolutely. And, it starts there, and worse comes to worse. Listen, everybody, I know it sounds bad. We could have like a top 3 pick.
Oh, man, you're already talking that.
I mean, if that happens, we got a rough stretch, buddy. There's got to be some other things for me to talk about.
I get it.
But, like, I'll take that as a positive. Because that could solidify something.
Who wasn't Michael Beck on Twitter saying about, are we going to take a quarterback if we get a top 5? It's like, bro, come on.
He's not quite there. I'm fine with a quarterback thing, but, top 3 pick if we took something. Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Maybe it's what we need. Just quit finishing 500 so you get a mid pick, you know what I mean? So you get like a still good guy, but you want a top guy. Not that I want them to finish top 10 with a top 10 pick, but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's a talk for another time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We'll quit ranting here.
That'll be in April. All right. Well, tough loss. We've got a big matchup next week against the Bucs. We'll be here for preview for that one. Yeah, so exciting. You got anything else to add, man?
Nope.
Okay.
Thinking about that game already.
Oh, boy. All right. Steelers fans, thanks for joining us for another video. Catch you guys on the next one. Go Steelers.
Go Steelers.